Hello everyone. While I'm busy sorting out some of my early unboxings, these two you'll definitely recognise, but there's two or three others in the next video that you won't recognise. That's because I'm trying to get them done as quickly as I can. My mum basically bought this new Harry Potter storage box. It's from The Works, and there's another one which my mum has, which she's going to give me. But this is so that I can store all of my Harry Potter stuff. Not really to hide, but because my place is so completely small, I can't really have items sort of dotted around. And also I need to respect my husband's property as well, because he's got stuff that he wants to store as well. So, to prevent any arguments on what to keep and what not, we bought these storage boxes so that we can start storing Harry Potter stuff, unboxings into here. So it's quite interesting. I thought while I was doing this, I'd make the two videos that I promised you. One is a Scottish legend, and this Scottish legend is probably very well known. Both legends I'm going to tell you are very well known, but in my own kind of way of telling it, it might highlight a lot of things. So the Scottish tale that I'm going to tell you in the next video is the tale of a very, very loyal friend who was with his dearest and most beloved friend all the way through his life, even past his own friend's life. That's a clue to what the story is called. The second one is a Chinese story, as it's the Chinese New Year, and as it's the Year of the Rat, I thought I'd tell you the story of why this is a lunar year. Lunar years are the start of a brand new 12-year cycle. The Chinese zodiac story, which is what I'm going to tell you, works on a 12-year base cycle because there's 12 animals, and when they revert all the way back to the start animal, that's what we nickname a lunar year. Also, it happens to be a leap year this year. I misjudged it. I told my partner the reason it's called a lunar year is because it's a leap year. Actually, it's called a lunar year because it's the very beginning of the 12-year cycle. So what am I talking about? This 12-year bits and bobs and all of this kind of stuff. Well, there's an old Chinese story that sort of explains why every year the Chinese celebrate a different animal per year. Year of the snake, year of the dragon, year of the rooster, year of the bull or pig, year of the ram or sheep, and year of the tiger and year of the rat. This year we are the year of the rat. Both my husband and I, for people who are interested in Maxius PSVR's year, he is the year of the snake, as am I. We're both snakes. That doesn't mean that we're sly. It can sometimes mean we're very cunning, but it can mean we're also very thinkative. A friend of mine is the year of the dragon. She's the year before me, so dragons celebrate the year before us, before we snakes do. My brother, 4 years behind my year, is the year of the rooster. Before him is my friend's brother, who is the year of the monkey, and so on and so forth. The way you work it out is each year has a particular animal. Now sometimes you can work out your animal by working out what year you were, and then reverting back to working out what your mother's year was, or your dad's, or your uncle's, or your husband's, or your children's. Not only is it represented by year, but the Chinese zodiacs are also representing by months, by days, and sometimes even weeks as well. In fact, they're very good use of fortune telling. If you ever buy a Chinese calendar, you'll notice every single month is dedicated to an animal, and next to it is dedicated to a type of that, to the kind of ideas of what an animal is like. I'll give you an example using one of the books that's based on this idea of Chinese zodiac, Fruits Basket. Now, Fruits Basket, for any children that are watching, by the way, I need to talk about copper at some point because I know I need to sort it out. Fruits Baskets is not exactly for kids. It's a manga. Partly because it has nakedness in it. Now, this is again part of the reason why I don't list my videos for children. The reason being is because I don't know what comes out of this mouth. I don't suffer from Tourette's, but I do suffer from occasional swearing. And for that reason and that reason alone, I'd rather, if any kids are watching, be accompanied by adults. Now, for this video, you can comment on it as much as you like, but the thing I like about this version of Fruits Basket, the first chapter, is it has a detailed information on all of the zodiacs. This is the race of the animals, and I'm going to use this to be able to tell the story. So what can I tell you about the year, about any of the years? Well, let's do this year. Let's do the year of the rat. Rats are imaginative, they're ambitious, they're generous to loved ones. However, according to this, if I was using this for fortune telling, they are very hot-tempered. Now, I would say as a snake, I'm more hot-tempered than a rat, but that is up for interpretation. Now, anyone as I'm telling the story might be able to slightly work out. Today the year of the rat, which is 2020, and rats. And if you want to work out if you're the year of the rat, you go 12 years behind 2020. And this is where I prove how bad my maths is, because 12 years, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. 2008 would have been the last year of the rat, in theory. Now, now, according to this, the next one would have been 1996. So we said 2008. So let's try it. Let's see if I'm correct. I might not be. So 2008. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Yes, 1996. So that's how you would work out how I work out what year people's year of the animals are. When I've got terrible maths, so I sometimes have to do it with my fingers, which is a bit lame. So anyway, on with the Chinese story. Some of you may have already heard this story, but I promise you it's a story to hear. The Year of the Snake. The story goes, a very long time ago, God was trying to think of an idea to represent all of the animals of the 12 years. He was also trying to work out how to do 12 months, hence 12 months, 12 lunar years. As he was thinking about it, he watched all of the animals playing with each other and having a laugh. And this gave him an idea. So he gathered all of the animals that he could together and announced, "Tomorrow I will host a banquet. I would like you all to arrive at 6 p.m. sharp, and whoever arrives at my party first shall receive a special prize. But don't worry, everyone who arrives at my party will receive a gift. I promise you. As your God, I promise." Well, all the animals were very, very excited, except for one. The cat had been in the back of the group all the way through and hadn't quite heard what God had said. He was a bit confused. So, as he watched all the other animals excitedly talk about the banquet, he pulled his friend the rat aside. "My dear friend rat," said the cat, "I was wondering if you could help me. Is there any way that you could tell me about the banquet. Now the rat, being a really good friend with the cat, agreed, told him everything about the banquet, about arriving at the party and each person getting a gift. But the first person to arrive at the banquet would receive a special gift. That sounds like fun, said the cat. When is the banquet? Now, although the rat was good friends with the cat, he did have a little bit of a cheeky side. And unfortunately, the cat had mistakenly tried to nip him the other day. So, as payback, the rat decided to play a little trick on the cat. Instead of telling the cat that the banquet was tomorrow, he told the cat that the banquet was 6 p.m. sharp the day after tomorrow. Because the rat was a good friend, the cat believed him and headed off into bed to have a good night's sleep, dreaming of the day that he would be celebrating the great banquet with God. The next day, as 6 p.m. started to dawn, all the animals began to head for the tiny little hill where the banquet would be held. God was waiting patiently for them. As they wandered up the hill, the rat took a good look up at the steep. He knew that he would never arrive at the banquet first if he tried to go by himself, and he was a little bit worried. So he came up with a grand idea. He turned to his friend, the cow. "My dear friend," he said, "I will never make it up this hill to enjoy the banquet. By the time I even get to the banquet, the whole banquet will have ended. Please, will you help me get up the hill, just as high so that the steep isn't so grand for a small little creature like me?" Now the cow was a very gentle and very kind creature, and of course she agreed. "Of course, my dear friend," she said. "Jump on my back and I'll carry you as high to the top as I possibly can." The rat climbed up onto the cow's back and they headed for the banquet. But just as the cow arrived at the very top, the rat scrambled up onto the top of the cow's head and leapt off her nose and onto the floor, right in front of God's feet. By technicality, the rat had arrived at the banquet first. "Well done, my dear friend rat," said the cow. "You have arrived first to my banquet. I hereby give you the special gift. You will represent the start of the lunar year, the 12 years that I will give unto the people. You will be year number 1 of the lunar year." Of course, the rat was very excited. "Oh, thank you," he said, and headed off to the banquet. Now the cow had heard this. She was a little bit disappointed. But God patted her head and said, "Congratulations, my dear cow. You have done wonders. I hereby grant you your gift. You shall represent the 2nd year of the 12 years, and the 2nd day, 2nd month. Congratulations." Although still a little bit disappointed, the cow smiled happily and went to join Rat at the banquet. Just as the cow was starting to tuck in, the tiger puffed his way up the hill. He was not as strong as the cow, but he was just as fast. God looked at the stripy cat and said, "Congratulations, tiger. I will award you the 3rd year of the lunar years. Congratulations, my friend." The tiger grinned a happy little grin and went off to join his friends. As the tiger disappeared towards the table, Rabbit bounded up the last bit of the hill. Then he turned a paw and happily helped the young dragon up. The young dragon had been linked to the good snake. Both of them, all three, were very, very tired. Rabbit hopped forward and reached the line first. "Greetings, God," said the cheery rabbit. God chuckled. "Welcome, my dear rabbit. Congratulations to you. You have arrived at my hill as the fourth place. I hereby grant you the 4th year of the lunar years." He then turned to the dragon. "My dear, powerful dragon, I offer you the 5th year." And then turning to the snake, who was catching his breath behind the dragon, "Congratulations, my dear snake. You shall be awarded the 6th year." All three of them were delighted with their gifts and headed off to join the feast. A few minutes later, the horse arrived at the banquet. Now the horse was a very powerful creature and also very, very stubborn. But God was pleased. "Welcome, my dear, fine horse. How beautiful you are today." The horse neighed and puffed out his mane. "I shall reward you the 7th year of the lunar year. Go join your friends and have a merry time." The horse neighed again and went to join his friends. With a cheery bar, the sheep joined everyone. He had been named the 8th year. He was as tired as everybody else and soon tucked into a fine bowl of hay. The monkey and the rooster arrived next. The monkey had just taken the lead of the rooster, but both were very happy to join the banquet. God awarded them the 9th and 10th position at the table. The dog was soon to follow. He lapped up on a bowl of milk as God happily rewarded him the 11th year and the 11th place at the table. Finally, tired, if not a little worn out, the boar joined the table. He happily tucked into his bowl as God awarded him the 12th year. Everyone enjoyed a wonderful and amazing banquet. They enjoyed themselves so much that they soon forgot that there was one of their friends missing. The poor little cat was in bed, tucked up, dreaming of a wonderful banquet. He didn't find out that the banquet had already ended, and he'd missed it by an entire day until he happened to have a little conversation with his young friend, the dog. "I'm sorry, my dear cat," said the dog. "I'm afraid the banquet was yesterday. You've missed it." The cat wanted to cry, but he was a proud animal. "That's okay," said the cat. "I'm sure I'll be able to join in the banquet next year." And as far as I know, the cat is still trying to join the banquet to this day. Maybe one day he will. Here's a little fact. A lot of people always assume that as the tiger is a species of the cat, technically the cat did arrive at the banquet. But I prefer the old legend. It is sad that the cat never did enjoy the banquet, but rules are rules. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful story, and I'll see you again real soon.